So you'll notice as we look around here on the screen, a few things might look a little bit different. We still have our info panel over here on the right. For those of you who've been using Mylio Photos for a little while, you've probably gotten used to seeing this panel here on the left with our quick filters. I'm going to quickly just close these up, go back here to kind of a fuller screen view, and you'll notice at the top here it says public. So right now I am using our new Spaces feature, and this lets me control what's being displayed at any given time. So over here on the left, in the left sidebar, you'll notice a few new icons. So we've got a new search, we have our spaces, and we have some new tools. So let's start at the top and work our way down. I'm going to go into search, which is a brand new view in Mylio Photos. And this is going to break up that search into photos, people, folders, places, events, and albums. And it's even going to show you when it finds things based on optical character recognition, which is where it's reading text and photos. It's also doing a reverse GPS lookup on those geocoded images. So we're finding places now as well. So let's start with a fun search. I'm going to type in San Diego. And a few things to note that some of our search qualifiers are still in play here. Actually, all of the advanced ones, so if you really like all that advanced stuff and all of those crazy long search strings, they still work. But I'm going to go ahead and just type in San Diego. And I'm putting it in quotes because I want it to see it as one phrase, as opposed to if I put it in as just San Diego, it's going to search for those two words instead of as one phrase. So we go ahead and do that. And that's going to bring up all of my pictures that have possibly keywords, file names, folder names, and so forth with the word San Diego. It's going to bring up folders with the word San Diego in them. It's reverse geocoding those pictures that have GPS information. So it's finding places. And it's also finding images that have text and photos. So here's the OCR. And if we go ahead and let's just say view all here under photos, we can scroll down and find something that is very distinctly San Diego. So we've got this picture here, and I can pull that up and you can see that it's pulling San Diego as the search term. And if I go ahead and open up the info panel on the right, and you'll notice the icon has changed. It's now a little I for information, which means that it's a little bit easier to find some of those things. You can see here in my title and in my caption, I have San Diego skyline right there. So that's where it's finding that particular tag. If I go ahead and jump down to this image here, again, here's another caption. San Diego is listed there. So it's going to be finding things based on that type of metadata when you search in that photo section. I can jump back to my search. That search is still there. And I can go ahead and click back to the back arrow here. And this brings me back to that folders, photos, places breakdown. So search is now its own view, which makes it much easier to navigate and get back to what you were searching for. And you don't have to keep typing it in over and over, which is very, very helpful. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these here in places. I'm going to go ahead and click on one here. It looks like the trolley. And you can see that it's pulled it up because of the address. It's a San Diego address. So it pulled it up in my San Diego search, which I love this. This is just so much more helpful to use and makes using Mylio Photos that much more flexible. Now let's go ahead and do a different search. I'm going to go ahead and close that up, and let's go ahead and type in cat. This also leverages our AI smart tags. So again, it's finding those photos based on what's in the picture, not just the ones that I've keyworded, but it's finding those AI smart tags. And I can also find things that have the word cat in the photo. So lots of great helpful things here. And then let's go ahead and say, I want to find all of my cat photos from the last 365 days. So from the last year, we can leverage using dynamic search with our quick filters. So we can go in here to by date and by date range and go ahead and plug here in the last 365 days. And that's going to change my results. So using dynamic search with quick filters together is insanely powerful. You guys are going to have such a great time being able to find what you want when you need it, like you never have before. It's really, really a game changer. So you guys are going to have fun playing with that. I'm going to jump back here to my all photos, close out my filters. Let's go ahead and double click back on that to go back to the top level. And let's talk briefly about spaces. So I mentioned here, I'm in my public space. And what that means is it's hiding things that I've marked as private. If you've been watching coffee breaks for a while, You probably recall the session that we did on categories last month, and that was to get you ready for spaces. So if you go through and you mark things with certain categories, it puts them automatically into pre-built spaces. So I can click on the spaces icon here in the left sidebar, and you can see that I'm in the public space. And there's several, these ones are all built into Mylio Photos. Some of them are accessible only to Mylio Photos Plus members, but we have basic ones in here for even our free users, so you can leverage this and show specific things, and you can even hide. So things that I've put in here, like maybe I took a picture of, some lab results at the doctor's office, or, maybe a picture of my husband being goofy that he really doesn't want to have shown in one of my demos. I can mark those as private, and then I have to click into the private space or everything space to see those. And this way, when I'm in the public space, that's things that I've already gone through and said, you know what, these things I'm okay with people seeing, and I can go through and continue to cull through my library and mark things with different categories to further curate this. Now, I haven't spent a whole lot of time on this yet because it's brand new, but I have started going through and adding some of these tags. So for instance, let's say here's some stuff that I wanted to sell on Craigslist. People don't need to see that. Actually, what I'm probably going to do is just delete them, but I could go here, right click on those photos. So select them. You can see they have the blue, and just go down here to hide photos. And that automatically marks them as private, and will hide them from this public space. It'll hide them from the family space, anything that's not everything. So if you hide something, it's going to show only under everything or private. So super, super powerful stuff there. And we'll get into this a lot more tomorrow. So if you come to our webinar tomorrow, lots of in-depth stuff. And in coffee breaks throughout this month, we're going to be talking about a lot of these features very in-depth. Right now, I'm just wanting to give you a taste of what's here, and it's really cool. So in addition to hiding files, you can also go over here to folders. So if you have a folder that's, let's say you and your loved one did a special photo shoot that you want to keep absolutely private, you can right click on that folder and hide the entire folder. So you can save yourself from some potentially embarrassing situations that when you hand your phone over to somebody to look through pictures, make sure it's in the public space, or you can even enable the guest space, which locks people from being able to delete things and do other things. This is all lined out in the manual, so what you can and can't do in each of these spaces. And then you can also go up to manage spaces and customize all of this. So there's a ton of stuff in here, but it's all built off of categories. Mark things as personal, public, family, private. Those are going to be the places to start, and then you can get very granular from there. So this leads me into our new remote control. So if you're a Mylio Photos Plus user and you have, let's say, people in your household that are shared collaborators, close collaborators that you trust, or maybe you and your spouse, or you have your kids' stuff coming into your Mylio account, you have the ability to control what they see on their devices. Now, if that device is a computer, one thing to note is people can still go into their file system and they can see things in the file system. But what this does is controls what people can see in Mylio. So if you're sharing, let's say a child in your household on your account, you might want to make sure that that's limited to their tablet or their phone. So let me give you a quick glance at what that looks like. I can go over here to the dashboard and into devices, and let's say I want to select my iPad. And maybe I only want to have certain things available to be seen on my iPad, or maybe I even want it to be just a portfolio device to where I hand it to somebody and I just want them to be able to look through pictures, not do anything with them. So I can go over here to the space, and I don't have to be on that device. You can see this device is not even connected and online right now. I can change this to a different space, and you can even passcode protect these spaces. So if somebody tries to switch to a different space, they have to enter that passcode to get into another space. Very, very helpful. And I hope you guys really enjoy this feature. It's a bit more advanced, a bit more of a technical setup, but insanely powerful. I pointed out that we have some new icons over here on the left. The other one I want you to see here is our tools. And these aren't new tools. You're probably familiar with them, but it makes them much easier to access. So we have our batch face tagging, our photo dedupe, and our photo declutter right here front and center, so you can access them from any area of the app. Super helpful. And then we also have a few new things in our family history metadata. So let me go ahead and jump back over to all photos. And right now I have the family history metadata panel turned off. I can go up to the More menu in the upper right, and I can turn on family history. So most of these fields are the same. There's a few minor changes, but you'll notice the first one here at the top is we now have the opportunity to post memories to Family Search. We have a great partnership going with FamilySearch.org, and this will allow you to directly post pictures. So if you have photos of a loved one that you have a profile for on Family Search, you will be able to go ahead and post those memories directly to Family Search. So for those of you who are passionate about family history and ancestry, you're going to love this. So another feature that I want to show you here really quick is, let's start with Mylio Drive. There's a couple more that I want to show you. Mylio Drive, again, this is something we're going to go into much more in depth tomorrow. But if you are a Mylio Photos Plus subscriber, this facilitates syncing very quickly and accessing optimized versions of your images on the go. You have to specifically opt in, but it enables you to upload all of your optimized images to a cloud server that is managed by Mylio, and it's included with your Mylio Photos Plus subscription. So all of your optimized photos and your catalog are going to be accessible. It doesn't do full-size images, so this is not a backup. This is to facilitate easily accessing your stuff on the go, and when you're setting up a new device, it makes that setup much, much faster. So that can be enabled up here in the More menu. If you go into Settings and into Sync, you just have to turn on right here, Sync with Mylio Drive. You do have to opt into it because I know there are a lot of people who don't want to have their stuff up in the cloud. This is totally optional. Like I said, there's no additional charge for Mylio Photos Plus subscribers. Really, really cool functionality. And so far, I have seen that it works pretty slick. The last thing I want to share with you is really cool. We now have shared albums. So if you've used other tools like, let's say, Apple Photos, sharing an album isn't necessarily new, but it's new to Mylio Photos. And what I can do here is go over to my albums view, and I can choose an album that I've created, and I can then share this online. So this button, if it's a fresh album, it'll say Publish Shared Album. I've already published this one. So let me go ahead and just click on this link. It's going to pull up my browser. And this is an album that has been shared online. You can make these files downloadable. So if you have a bunch of pictures that you want to share with friends or family that you want them to be able to download, let's say from a family reunion or a child's birthday party, you want to get those images into one place and be able to make it downloadable for everybody, this is an awesome way to do this. And these pages are not indexed by search engines. They don't link to your other shared albums, so they're like an unlisted phone number. So we call them semi-private. You have to have the link to get to it, but you can go ahead and click on one of these images. You can play a slideshow. You can zoom in on it. You can do all sorts of stuff, and the pictures look great. You can even control whether they're watermarked or what metadata is embedded in these. Really, really cool feature, and I think this is going to be something that you guys really enjoy having. You have a couple of options as far as the color of the background here and how this displays. And again, we'll go into this in far more detail in future coffee breaks and in the big webinar tomorrow. So that's kind of my overview of our biggest and best things in this release. In addition to that, we support more languages. There have been a ton of bug fixes. Yeah, this is an epic release. Our team has worked super hard, and we hope you guys love it. With that, Lori, do you want to jump in and tell us a little bit about tomorrow's webinar?
Yeah, if I could share my screen, that would be great. Okay, so let me go here. Hopefully you guys can see my screen right now.
Yep, we see it.
We're all good. Okay, so I do want to start out by saying that if you go to our Mylio.com website, and if you want to look at our product manager manual, I put a link in the chat box there. But this is Angela's baby. She created the first one, and we've updated it. This includes all those new features that she went over today. So it is live as of right now. So you can go ahead and take a look at that, which is great. And then the next thing I do want to mention is there's a new fundamentals course that Rich Harrington, Angela Andrieux, and JC Figueroa have been spending quite a bit of time creating all these videos. You can see if there's an overview. And Angela, did you want to say a word about this really intense course here? It looks like you guys covered everything.
Yeah, so this is an awesome course. For those of you who've been using Mylio for a while, I would encourage you to go through and at least take a look at the sections on the new tools. This course has been reimagined from the ground up. This isn't like just a take on the old one. This is a brand new, fresh course that covers everything. So it's a great way to get familiar with what's in the latest and greatest version. Highly recommend it. And it's about, if you watch it from cover to cover, start to finish, I think it's, what do we say, about 4 to 5 hours, something like that. So there's a lot here. If you're a long-term user, you might want to just bounce around and watch certain segments. You don't have to watch the whole thing. But if you're new to Mylio Photos, I highly encourage you to watch it start to finish, and it's going to get you in a really good place with how to use the software.
Yeah, I'm in the community, by the way, and I put a link for you folks. You could just jump right to us. And this is live right now, so you can start viewing that.
Excellent.
The other thing Angela's been talking about is a really big launch event that we have going on tomorrow. If you go to our community under events, you'll see that we're live right now, but the one right below it is tomorrow. And this is going live at 10 o'clock Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And if I click on here, I'll just kind of give you a quick overview. This is everything that we have that we're going to go over. All those new features. We have guests that will be introducing you to some of these new features as well. Some of our team members, including our CEO. You're not required to join in and watch the whole thing. We are going to be recording this, and we're breaking up into bite-sized videos, so you can just jump to exactly what video you might want to learn more about. So that's tomorrow. If you're interested, I did put a link also in the chat. You can just click here to register. That'll take you to our Zoom registration. And yeah, just put in your information, and then we will see you tomorrow. So hopefully you will join us for that. We're really excited. It's going to be a nice big event. Okay.
Absolutely.
Anything else, Angela?
Well, I just wanted to cover a couple of the questions here. It looks like you shared the link for tomorrow. That's perfect. Can you drag and drop into the albums area like you can with folders? So not quite yet. That is something that we have coming. However, you can use the Mylio clipboard. So if you go to the manual and you search the Mylio clipboard, that does allow you some drag and drop functionality with albums, and it's very helpful. Once you start using the clipboard, you're going to love it. So I highly recommend checking that out. Facial recognition with cats and dogs, not yet. However, it does have the AI smart tag, so it'll recognize whether it's a cat or a dog, but it doesn't have pet face recognition yet. It's something we hope to implement in the future. I don't have an ETA on that, but you can go through and manually tag faces of pets, and I do that all the time. Highly recommend it. It's a great way because they're our family members, right? We want to be able to find those. Let's see, Mark asked, do remote users need to have a Mylio account? So it depends on which aspect you're asking about there. The remote control for controlling what's on somebody else's devices, that's if they're sharing your account. So you pretty much want to do that with only a trusted collaborator, typically within your household, maybe if you're working on like a family history project with somebody. It also can work in a small business arrangement if that's what you want to do. But trusted collaborators who are logged in using your account. So it's just one account. With the shared albums, that can be shared with anybody. So if they have access to the internet, you can send them that link and they can access and browse things in those shared albums that are in the web pages. All right, let's see what else we've got here. All right, I think that covered any of the questions. Did I miss anybody? Any other questions before we sign off? I don't want to take up too much of your time today because we're going to ask for a lot of it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is Mylio Drive starting with the new release?
Yes. Yep. And again, it's opt-in only. You don't have to use it. And when you do turn it on, it's fully encrypted. The files on that cloud drive can only be read by Mylio. You have to have your Mylio application on your computer, your tablet, phone, in order for that to be read. We never see any of your pictures. We still take privacy. Super, super important. It's one of our highest priorities. And again, if you don't want to use it, you certainly don't have to. So
Angela, I've still got one other question on
Sure.
this drive. Currently, without Drive, even if I'm on my cell phone and remote, I can download an original if I want to do edits on something original. What is the benefit of Drive in that case? Is that like if your home computer's turned off?
Yeah, exactly. So if your home computer is turned off, and not everybody has a computer that they leave on at home. So this facilitates them being able to get the optimized images, a higher quality than a thumbnail. So if they're going through and they want to show that picture they haven't looked at for, a couple of years, and the only thing that's on their phone is that thumbnail, that Mylio Drive lets them get to the optimized image, even if their computer at home is turned off.
Got it. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right.
Looks like Steve had a question too, Angela.
Yeah, I see that. Is there an announcement of a partnership that is beneficial to those who use Mylio for genealogy work? So we do have a partnership with FamilySearch.org. So if you saw a little bit earlier, you can post memories directly to Family Search. You're also going to be able to put in your Family Search ID on your people tag. So when you have somebody listed in the people section of Mylio, you can add that tag in there. Lots of great stuff. And we're going to have a whole segment with our head of partnerships tomorrow during that webinar. And he's going to be talking about some of the stuff we have going with Family Search that's in the version 24 and things that are coming a bit later. All right. So yeah, lots of stuff for all sorts of people. We're going to be expanding also our partnerships with frame.io. So whether you're a professional content creator or family history or just managing your family photos, Mylio Photos is an epic solution for all of those things. And we have tools that benefit all of those different things. One thing I always kind of try to stress with Mylio Photos is you don't have to use everything this product offers. There's a lot here. It can be very overwhelming. So you just pick and choose what fits you best and what helps you find the things that you want. If all you do is you pull your photos in and then you use that dynamic search and those quick filters to find things, you're already going to be so much better off than you were before. So let's see if there's any other questions here. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this little sneak peek at what you will hopefully get later today. Like I said, release is imminent. It should be in your hands later this afternoon. To get prompted for the update whenever it does come out, keep an eye on the community. We'll be putting posts out there as soon as that is out there and available. If you don't see it pop up immediately, you can go up into your operating system menus. I believe it's under the Mylio Photos menu on Mac and under the Help menu on Windows, and say check for updates, and that'll prompt it to search for that update. We also have instructions for how to update in the manual if you need that. And yeah, you guys are going to have fun and love it. And I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. So have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.